Hello, football fans, and welcome back to Keeping Score. It's been a long time since you've seen us talking about the NFL, so it is good to be back. But today, we focus on last week's NFL draft because if you're anything like me, you spent your Thursday, Friday, and Saturday glued to the screen watching the picks. I'm your host, Wannabe, and now that we are back, it's officially time to talk about football. To kick it off, we will each have 30 seconds to talk about our team's draft. And what better way to start it off by me talking about none other than the New York Football Giants and their tremendous draft. You look at the screen right there, Orville Reese pick 5. I stumbled that one. Everyone thought he was going to go 2 to the Jets, but now he is on the Giants. You know, Francis Maui-Noah, consensus top offensive lineman, and he's going to the Giants. Colton Hood, a projected first rounder, got him at pick 37. Malachi Fields, the wide receiver out of Notre Dame. I mean, big threat receiver. Like, if I were to describe the Giants draft in 3 words, I would say physical and versatile, because we have Orville Reese. He could play edge or linebacker. We have Francis Maui-Noah. He could play guard or tackle. Malachi Fields, he's the physical receiver that we needed. You look at his highlights, he is a jump ball merchant. I mean, our 6th-round picks, they're nothing really special. We got a backup left tackle in case Andrew Thomas gets hurt, but the D tackle and the linebacker. But in my opinion, with this draft, I fully believe that the Giants will dominate the NFC, but there are teams that could compete. Big Daddy, how did you feel about your Detroit Lions draft?
So, I've got the rock. All right, let's see. This is what we got. So the Detroit Lions, I think they overall had a pretty good, positive draft. In round 1, we've got Blake Miller, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame. He's pro-ready. We think that he's going to be a great pick. With Derek Moore and Jimmy Rolder, again, it looks like it's going to be like the Michigan Wall. So again, 2 great picks. Derek Moore is going to be on the edge. Jimmy Rolder, again, going to be linebacker. So the Reading joke is, it's going to be that Michigan defense dream. So again, this is what we're hoping for. And then we've got a value pick of cornerback of Keith Abney. So again, in round 5. So we've got a potential steal there. So hopefully this is all going to work out for the Detroit Lions. I think we're going to go next to the Candyman, right? So Candyman, here we go.
Don't drop the ball. Don't drop the ball. Yes. Jets. Jets. Not just end the season. They just elevated their season. Going to be back on set with Wannabe, Paisano, 2.0, Big Dads, and Bomo. Yes, let's go talk about the Jets draft. 2nd overall pick, David Bailey. Started at Stanford, ended at Texas Tech, and he's going to be a nice edge rusher. The one that everybody's talking about is this Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. Freakish speed, 4.39 in the combine 40. I think 2.0 could run that. He scrambles well for the Wildcats. He's going to do that next year. Yeah. Anyway, this is the big pick, the sexy pick. I don't think he got a lot of yards last year. I think he had like 500 receiving yards as a tight end, but everybody's talking about that. Then they went to Indiana. They went to the national champs, and they drafted some dudes. This Omar Cooper Jr. guy, right? They drafted him, right? They traded up for that, according to Bomo. Great. And then they got this other guy, D'Angelo Pons. If we talk about their other picks, yes, I have a cheat sheet, no cheat, I can't remember everything. The 103rd overall pick was Darrell Jackson out of Florida State, who's a defensive tackle. Then we got Cade Klubnik, quarterback. Maybe our friend Geno Smith, who has returned to the Jets from the Raiders, can mentor him. Rounding out their picks, VJ Payne and Jets have got some high grades in this draft. But who is next to analyze?
I think the Chiefs honestly had a great draft. You know, as a Chiefs fan, I don't really get to enjoy the draft as much as some Jets, Giants fans, even Lions sometimes. But this year, it was great for me. Obviously didn't go to the Super Bowl or playoffs like we normally do, but I did get to enjoy the draft. So to get started with pick 6, the Chiefs traded up from 9 to 6 with the Browns to take Mansour, a cornerback out of LSU. Honestly, at first, I was like, I wasn't expecting this guy to be drafted, but you know, I don't really watch college football too much, so I had to do my research. And everyone says that he's like this alpha, like dominant cornerback, this fast, you know, can play man, can play zone. So I'm honestly really excited about it because obviously the Chiefs just traded away Trent McDuffie and lost Jalen Watson. So I really like that pick after my research. Now next at pick 29, they took Peter Woods, defensive tackle out of Clemson. I'm a Clemson fan. I didn't really get to watch him too much, but I've heard of him. Sounds good to me. He's a speed rusher, so even though he does have short arms, since he's a speed rusher, he should be able to make up for it with his speed. Now going to their third pick in the second round, they took Mason Thomas, who was another speed rusher out of the edge this time. Then, the Chiefs took a running back, Emmett Johnson. He's not very fast, but he should have the strength and should be able to make his way up to that RB2 role. And then to round out our draft, we took a safety and a wide receiver, Cyrus Allen. And then a surprising pick was Garrett Nussmeier with the last pick. Hope I pronounced that right, but I don't know much about him. He's a quarterback, but maybe the Chiefs saw something in him that I didn't. So overall, I thought the Chiefs had a great draft. Want to be?
In this draft, we saw a lot of trades. Especially towards the end of the first round, and of course, you're going to get trades in between, second, third, fourth, and fifth. But one team that really traded the most was the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going to hand the rock off to Paisano, and he will tell us about the Buffalo Bills draft.
Yeah, I know the talk of the draft, definitely the Buffalo Bills trading down 3 times out of the first round completely. I don't hate the move. I think it's good for draft capital. I think the Bills did not need, positional-wise, could get T.J. Parker out of the second round instead of having to use a first-round pick on some guy who's, everyone's going to think he's a second-round pick, and he's going to be good on the defense, help stop the run, Bills' run defense. Definitely need to work on that. And, again, in the second round, Davison Igbenuson and cornerback, and I don't think it's a bad pick either. I think he's a good corner. I know Jermod McCoy still on the board. Definitely could have taken him. He was a first-round pick. He fell to the 101, so not much you can do there. I'm even helping with their, tackle/guard depth, Drew Bowery. We need linemen for Josh Allen, help protect him. Also get him some weapons. That's where I think one of the steals of the draft, Skylar Bell, comes in, wide receiver out of UConn. He's a good weapon for Josh Allen. He may be a little small, but I do like the pick, good route runner. And, you get a lot more guys at the end of the draft, mainly just for defense, defensive upside, depth, stuff like that. But overall, I don't think the Bills had a horrible draft. So I guess I'll pass the rock over to 2.0 to talk about his Pittsburgh Steelers.
Star QB is now playing running back for 30 seconds. That's the best way we can describe this.
Well, let me start off with, there's a lot of controversy with what's going on with the Steelers, primarily with the coaching job. Mike Tomlin's gone. Mike McCarthy's here. What's going to happen? And Aaron Rodgers. So, that's why we want to talk about the draft. I don't want to botch his last name, but we got Max I. He's a right tackle. He can either play right tackle or left tackle. But listen, Broderick Jones, we got him as a first-round pick in the years past, 2 or 3 years ago. He clearly was not good enough to be on the Steelers. And honestly, he might be second on our depth chart, but we really needed him, so I'm so happy that we got him. And we also got Jeremy Bernard, a receiver out of Alabama, which reminds me of J-Mo Williams a lot, if you guys know who that is. We definitely need him as our wide receiver 3. If you're looking at the Steelers depth chart right now, we are missing a quarterback, and the receiver core is so deadly. We have DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman Jr., and now Jeremy Bernard, and I think that this is going to be a really good year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but in the third round, we get Drew Aller, and that leads me to go back to what I said before with Mike McCarthy. Are we going to stick with Aaron Rodgers? Are we going to stick with Will Howard like we did last year? We got Will Howard. What's going to happen? And as a Steelers fan, you can only wait and see, but I really think we're going to go with Aaron Rodgers, and if he leaves, I really wish that we go with Will Howard, knowing that he won the Natty last year. And one more thing I do have to say is I remember we got a corner in the 4th round. I wish that we got Jermon McCoy. He is suffering an ACL injury, and honestly, I understand why we didn't pick him, but the Raiders got the steal of the draft just because of that.
We're going to get to that. But, kind of like what you said about Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers, they just placed a non-refusal tender on him, which has, never been done, which means that, no other team could sign him. But now that we've talked about all of our favorite teams, we have to go across the league and talk about every team. So which team do you guys think had the best draft?
Jets.
Jets.
Everybody's saying it.
I think the New York teams did great.
For sure.
Jets and Giants.
Yeah. For me, my personal winner, and I don't really like to say this because their organization is a dumpster fire, but it's got to be the Cleveland Browns. They just, I feel like they absolutely nailed the draft.
You know what?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I was going to say the same thing. Cleveland Browns, good draft.
Yeah, I think they definitely helped get weapons for Shadur and protection. I think trading back with the Chiefs is a good idea too, and it helps them get even more draft capital as well. I think it was a good move for the Browns.
Plus, they got the
They'll
safety.
find a way to screw it up.
I mean, listen,
Well,
The Jets and Browns will find a way to screw it up.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
they got a new coach coming in, Todd
But
Bunkin.
can I segue back to the Aaron Rodgers no tender thing?
Yeah.
I thought him and McCarthy hated each other.
No, I think they like each other.
Wasn't
I
it the
mean,
Green Bay
They
split?
I know
played
they have a
back.
history.
I thought Rodgers,
Have
like,
to,
you know,
no?
behind the scenes got rid of McCarthy in Green Bay back in the day.
Yeah, I mean,
Am I wrong there?
Yeah, kind of, but like they had to work together, so they do have
the Super
some
Bowl
sort
together.
Of, exactly. So
Super
I
Bowl,
don't know,
Super
though.
Bowl's important. I mean,
Sounds like a divorce, and they want to get separation. They want to get back together. I don't know
Yeah.
if I like it.
Yeah.
I don't have confidence in AA Ron. I think he should retire.
I mean, listen,
Bitter Jet fan? No? Yes? Maybe?
he's 41 years old. Like, at some point, you got to give it up. But you know what? If the Steelers want to be bad, I am perfectly okay with it. I mean, who else are we thinking? Like, what other winners are we thinking?
Can I segue to another quarterback thing?
Yeah.
All right. Mendoza, love him.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
From
I was gonna
Miami,
say that.
national champ, turned Indiana around, great family. I don't think he's the savior in Vegas.
Ooh, you don't.
I saw him throw out a first pitch for the Marlins. It was like shot put.
Ooh.
Boop. I get football shoulder, baseball's total body, but I'm thinking like Josh Allen would throw a perfect strike. I know Pat Mahomes would, because he played baseball.
Yeah, but
I think you need a little more athleticism in the NFL. Now, I'm basing that just based on a first pitch throw out at a Marlins game, which was, I'm sure, was highly attended.
But you know who else had a first pitch throw that everyone hated? Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow is arguably, I would say top 5, but he's arguably a top 3 quarterback in the league. When,
He's on his way out right now.
He's on his way out. But, Bengals are another one of those teams, too. They're finally coming back. And, I think, a lot of these teams had good drafts overall, but also there were a lot of teams that had bad drafts. So before we go to that, are we all in agreement that the Cleveland Browns are the winners of the 2026 draft?
Oh, how about the Broncos? They drafted Mr. Irrelevant. What college was Mr. Irrelevant from? I'm taking over the M-Dog spot. I'm the energy for M-Dog.
That's right.
Bringing in the irrelevance.
I've never really said this before.
University of Buffalo? Yes, my man. Can't remember. Red Murdoch. Red Murdoch. And who was the most famous alum from UB, the UB Bulls?
I don't know.
I could not tell
Future
you.
Hall of Fame linebacker. Raiders, Bears, Chargers.
Oh,
Mack.
Khalil
Mack.
yeah.
He broke some of Khalil Mack's records. So hopefully Mr. Irrelevant will make the Broncos a little relevant. I get the Broncos, man, because they got Mr. Irrelevant. They had the best draft.
That is. All right.
I think
that's,
it's
that's
love,
a
I
take.
love your logic. No one thinks.
Yeah, that's a take.
That's good.
So I guess now that we've done that, let's turn to our draft day losers. And in my opinion, the clearest loser of the NFL draft was the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, what they did, in my opinion, was atrocious. They spent the 18th pick on Caleb Banks, who only played 3 games last year because of a foot injury. Then in the combine, he injures his foot again. And, you go so heavy on defense, even though your offense was the problem, in my opinion. I didn't think their defense was too bad. J.J. McCarthy, horrible. Who's the other guy? Max Brosmer. Everyone thought he was going to be the next Brock Purdy.
12.
Horrible. Their best player was Carson Wentz. As a quarterback. Their best player is obviously Justin Jefferson, but, running backs, horrible. And I just feel like, they put nothing into the offense. But I want to know what you guys think.
See, I think the LA Rams had the worst draft.
The Rams, okay.
Because they picked the quarterback in the 13th
Simpson.
spot. Yeah, Ty
Somebody else said
Simpson.
that to me. Someone said
And
that to me
it's one of those things that sends a huge message to Matthew Stafford. So it's kind of one of those things that you're drafting him so early in the first round, 13th pick. What is that saying to everybody? Well, I guess that Matthew Stafford's on his way out, and you drafted a developing quarterback. So
You buy into the mentoring shit.
yeah, I
Stafford mentoring
guess,
his
but
pick.
he could have gone a little bit later. So I don't know. So 13th is a little early. So especially
I
if you're going to
agree
be
with that.
getting a developing quarterback to mentor with Stafford, that's a big deal.
Bubba,
That's a
what do you
big deal.
think? You've been pretty quiet. What do
You
you
know, I
think?
was about to say, that situation, I don't really, obviously the Rams are in win now mode, so I don't really understand why they're taking a quarterback that
Right,
early.
exactly.
But that kind of reminds me of the situation maybe I remember in 2020 when the Packers took Jordan Love when Aaron Rodgers wanted a receiver. So that sent the message to Aaron Rodgers that he would be out in a few years. But then it did end up working out because Jordan Love got to learn from Aaron Rodgers, and now he's their franchise guy, or he should be. He's playing pretty good.
So that means the Rams are going to be planning for the future.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing.
All right. Well,
But
we'll
to
see.
me, you should not spend the 13th overall pick, which you got from the Falcons, on a quarterback that everyone thought was going to go late first round, early second round. I get it if you want to trade down with a team like the Cowboys, who had like the 20th pick, get some extra picks, draft Ty Simpson, and then in the later rounds, make some deals. Another thing the Rams also did was draft a tight end in the second round when they already have Tyler Higbee and the other guys. I don't even remember their name.
Parkinson.
Yeah, Kobe Parkinson. I mean, they have so many tight ends. There was really, in my opinion, no need to go with an offensive weapon. I think they needed to go O-line since their right tackle just retired. So I see your point there, but I mean, what else do you guys think?
I went a different route. I definitely think the Vikings had a pretty bad draft, but I also had the Jaguars in there. I think they needed corner, maybe some more defensive guys. Their first picks in the second round because they traded up for Travis Hunter last year, and they pick a tight end, which I don't understand at all when you have Brennan Strange on your roster and the other man I'm also blanking on these tight end twos names. I think the Jaguars, they reached on a lot of picks and they didn't draft who they needed positional wise. And even if they got a guy, maybe like a corner it's in the 6th round. So what are you going to do? A 6th round corner, that's going to be hard to develop. I think the Jaguars probably had the worst one.
I'd have to agree with Big Daddy on the Rams and their draft. Like Ty Simpson, like he's a good quarterback, but like it's just too early. Like I understand what they're trying to do. Like they got Matt Stafford and they're trying to develop him under him for at least 1 year. Bomo had a great example with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. That's kind of exactly what they're trying to do. But like, why not get a defensive guy or like another O lineman and then go into the second round and get a QB, or like maybe even like the third round, maybe even get Drew Aller instead of like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know it's kind of like, I don't really know like Ty Simpson's here, like and all the like Carson Becky's here. Like I don't really see a big difference in Ty Simpson and all the other guys. So using your first pick on them, I don't really like it.
I think when you talk about like the mentorship, you're kind of thinking like Sean McVay kind of agrees with the pick and he's going to work with Ty Simpson, but it kind of seemed like if you watch on social media that Sean McVay did not care for Ty Simpson. He didn't seem really happy with the pick. I mean, I don't know if that was just me, but what do you guys think?
Well, I think Sean McVay's a win now guy. I mean, literally every single year except that one, 2023, I think they had a bad record because they got injured. I mean, they've made the playoffs. They won the Super Bowl. McVay's a win now guy, and I think they probably went behind his back or something and drafted Ty Simpson. I guess you can obviously see that Matt Stafford probably maybe has a year left in him and he wants to retire, and you're just planning for the future with Ty Simpson. But also, I think at that point, when the next quarterback drafted is Carson Beck in the 3rd round, I think you should probably trade down and still draft him, but also get some more draft capital.
Yeah, there was a few things about it. Like, there was like a few points. Like, they could have gotten Ty Simpson later, probably. They traded with the Cowboys, like you said. Or, Matt Stafford's pretty much in his, I don't want to say his prime, but he just won MVP. Like, I feel like you're in win now mode, and that's what Sean McVay feels. And then also, I think Sean McVay and the coaches know that they're in a very competitive division. So if they want to stay alive, trying to go to the playoffs, trying to go to the Super Bowl, then you kind of have to keep up with the Seahawks. The 49ers are going to make a comeback, and the Cardinals, forget about those guys. But, like, I understand why they picked him, but I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Because, he's more of like a developmental guy. I mean,
Aaron Rodgers won MVP and then fizzled a year or two later.
Yeah,
That's
Somebody in the organization believes him. Somebody really believes
I
him.
think it was the GM. I mean,
Yeah, it has to be the GM because he does all the stuff,
Well, I mean, they always work, hand in
They
hand.
always work together,
Yeah.
But
So, final vote. I'm going to start over here with Paisano Bueno. Who are the losers of the draft?
I mean, I'm going to stay with it, the Rams. It was really just the order in which they drafted. I saw what they were doing, I didn't like the order and the way in which they did that.
I mean, there's a lot of, I think all of us, besides 2.0 and Big Daddy, had, different losers of the draft. But I guess if it were up to me, I would say Jaguars/Vikings. And
Okay.
I would, maybe also agree with you on that one.
All right, Big Daddy, what do you think?
I'm going to stick with my Rams. So I think, we said, it's one of those things where it's just bad tactical planning. So again, not a good pick, but just wrong timing, I think.
I think it's tough to be a Vikings fan right now. I think you are still thinking about why did we let Sam Darnold go?
They don't even have a GM right
Why
now.
did we let Sam go? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mess
Yeah,
They also let Daniel Jones
over
go.
there.
They did let
Off
Daniel
the
Jones
practice
go.
squad.
Yeah.
All right, Boma.
Played safe.
Final vote.
I'm just gonna say the Rams. Like all the points I said, I just didn't like that first pick mainly. So that's why I'm gonna say the Rams.
All right. Well, that'll do it. I want to thank our analysts for doing their research and having great conversations. Hopefully, all of our teams see success and the young rookies stand out. I have been your host, Wannabe, and thank you for watching Keeping Score.